Hey everyone, Joan here. I need to talk to you all about my struggles with minimalism. As I mentioned before, I started my minimalism journey a few years ago. It was actually 2017 to be exact. And I never realized how much keeping, just things, objects, belongings could take such an emotional toll on you. Now I look back at all the nonsense that I held on to, on top of the sentimental stuff, things that I kept because it was meaningful, as well as the just in case I needed stuff. When I got rid of them, it turned out I never really needed them. And I actually didn't regret letting them go. So the beginning of my minimalism journey hasn't been easy. There's definitely like a lot of emotional struggles that I had to deal with. And, definitely there's like three things that I struggled with that I had to overcome: sentiments, guilt, and temptation. So the first thing I want to talk about are sentiments, okay? So I actually still have like this box that I call my box of sentiments. It just has things that are, like meaningful, like gifts and things I just have a hard time letting go because they all have some kind of sentimental value to me. At some point, once I get myself emotionally ready for it, I know I have to finish like going through it. I started decluttering it several weeks ago, but there's still stuff in there that just like, I know I have to like bring myself mentally and emotionally, to be able to clear out for good. The thing about sentiment, it's like, the object has a meaning, right? Like somebody gave it to you and it was very like emotional or had a good meaning, or it's like, someone gave it to you and it just meant so much to you. Like, for example, I actually had this mug from one of my former drum students, and, for Christmas, she gave me this mug that had like a drawing of like drum set on it, had my name on it, and like, 'cause she couldn't understand really like how to play drums, so we kind of came up with this thing where like the bass drum is boom and then the snare drum is fart. So she was like, boom boom fart. So on the mug she wrote boom fart, and to me that was just like so cute and all. But I still have this mug. I haven't seen her in years. I stopped teaching her. I don't even keep in touch with the family. So it's like, why do I still have this mug? So that mug is actually on my list of things to declutter. And again, sentiments, right? And another example are like wedding gifts. So, when I had my wedding, people gave us like all these random gifts and stuff. I didn't have a registry. I just didn't do that. I was just very free flow with my wedding. So, people gave me random gifts, and there was a lot of like kitchen gadgets, like a lot of stuff made of plastic, stuff that I would never use. And I just kept them in storage for a while, and like I never used them but I felt bad getting rid of them because like my family and friends gave them to me for my wedding, and there was like good intention behind it, but I never saw myself using it. So when we moved, I decided to let them go. I actually like just donated most of them. So I was just having a hard time like letting go of things that people gave to me on my wedding day. And another like set of things that I'm trying to sort through are like souvenirs from friends when they go and travel. Like they give you like little trinkets here and there. Again, I'm trying not to hold on to trinkets. I don't even buy them for myself. And I know I have a handful of that stuff just sitting in my box of sentiments, and I don't know what to do with them. And maybe some I'll keep and find a place for it at my apartment, but there's some I'm just like, I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it was very thoughtful, and I was very grateful they thought about me and they got me this little souvenir, but what am I going to do with it? So again, like sentimental stuff, something I've always just struggled with as I decluttered my life and my home. And I'm getting better with it, but again, it's still a bit of a struggle, and I'll go more into that as I continue my decluttering. Hey, we're back in my closet. So the next emotional struggle I had was guilt. Guilt has definitely been like my biggest struggle throughout the last several years, especially in the beginning, because it's that feeling of like someone gave you something and then you realize you don't want it or you don't need it. I mean, of course, the thought counts. And so when I realized I was a hoarder, I was actually triggered by the amount of clothes that I had. When I realized I had too many clothes, then I realized I had too much of everything else. It's not really easy for me to share the guilt that I've had to deal with, but trust me, once I overcame it, it was such a relief. I felt like such a huge burden was just lifted off of me. So clothes were definitely the thing that triggered the guilt in me, because most of the clothes I had were like hand-me-downs by like family and friends, and unfortunately some of those people I haven't spoken to in years, so it was just kind of weird keeping the things that they gave to me. I was always grateful for them. Like, I appreciated them, I did wear them, but I never realized that taking all these hand-me-downs from my friends and family just contributed to my hoarding problem. My closet was full, like from wall to wall, and a third of that were actually the stuff I bought. The rest were all hand-me-downs. When I looked at my closet and decided to declutter, I felt so guilty putting all these nice clothes into trash bags and, bringing them over to donate them. And then don't even get me started on the drama about me trying to sell some of them on Poshmark, but let's leave it at that. So I started getting rid of the clothes, and what I realized was that, dang, like, I never really had my own style. It was as if people were dictating my style for me. So I never really developed my own sense of style. Like, all my clothes were just hand-me-downs from other people, giving me their sense of style and me not really coming up with my own. But now that I've gotten rid of all those hand-me-downs and I just have clothes that I bought for myself, I picked for myself, I feel more myself. And I realized that I have enough, I have what I need. I don't need more clothes. The thing I've learned about accepting gifts, accepting hand-me-downs, accepting anything from everybody is that once they give it to you, it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. And that took me a long time to realize for myself, they gave it to me, therefore I can do whatever I want with it, whether I keep it or not, whether I like it or not. And that was what helped me overcome the guilt of accepting things from people and then letting it go. So, what's yours is yours. Do what you want with it. Don't feel bad if you have to let it go because you don't need it. That is the beginning of overcoming the guilt. So the last thing I want to talk about that I struggle with, and I still struggle with from time to time, is temptation. So just a little background. A couple years ago, my husband and I started a business, and I was working an office job that was just taking a lot of time. So I decided to quit that office job so that I can have more time to build the business. But in the meantime, I took on a retail sales gig so that I have a flexible schedule. I could work on my people skills, my sales skills. I just wanted to get out and just talk to people while I build the business. The thing was, that sales gig was for a clothing brand I actually still love. And I worked for them for about a year and a half, and I actually worked for them a lot longer than I anticipated. The thing is, with this brand, they made great clothes. They're just really well made. I actually still have a lot of those clothes from when I started working there in the beginning. And the cool thing was they gave us clothing allowances twice a year. So every fall and every spring, they gave us a clothing allowance, so we got clothes for free. However, we still had a really good employee discount. So the problem I struggled with was just every time there was something new in the shipment, like some kind of cute, outfit or whatever, the temptation was just so hard to deal with. I was pretty good about keeping myself in check, but there were definitely times I gave into that temptation and bought the thing. I definitely tried my best to not fall into temptations. What I would do is, when I see a nice jacket that I really want, I would put it on hold, we hang it in our office, and I would just leave it there. And I would wait to see if I would really buy it. If I really wanted it, I would buy it within a couple weeks. But if I didn't buy it within a couple weeks, I was like, okay, I got to put this back. I don't need this. Really, what helped me overcome that shopping addiction working at a clothing store was quitting. There was no reason for me to keep that job anymore. And since then, I actually haven't bought clothes. So that was something I had to do, was just cut it off. Don't need to work there anymore. That also helped me resist the temptation to buy clothes I don't need. So when my husband and I moved out here to Ventura, I had to find something else on the side while we still built the business and actually sell high-end kitchen stuff. They're really expensive. With my discount, they're still expensive. The good thing is, because they're expensive, I don't fall into temptation to buy things for my kitchen that I don't need. It's hard because sometimes there's something really cute or something really nice. I'm like, oh my God, that would be so great to have. But I do the same thing, put something on hold. If I don't buy it within a few weeks, I put it back on the shelf. It's still a struggle that I have. I do get tempted to buy things that I don't need, but that's how I overcome the temptation, by just really sitting on it. Put it somewhere, think about it, really think it through, and then decide after a few weeks, hey, do I really need this? Do I not? Most of the time, I don't. So that's really helped me overcome that temptation. For the most part, I'm not really a shopaholic. I never really thought I was a shopaholic. So shopping for clothes and things like that these days, it's not hard, but when you work somewhere where the discounts are great and you get free stuff thrown at you, it makes it hard. But for the most part, when I go to the mall, I don't really get tempted to buy things because I don't get that same discount. So for the most part, the way I deal with the temptation is just really thinking it through. Think it through. Don't buy it on the spot. You just have to have that self-control. I really had to work on my self-control. I'm not buying something just because it's cute, just because I could get a discount. But again, think it through, sit on it. And you just have to have a lot of self-control. You just have to really reflect, and just a lot of self-awareness. Anyway, it's starting to get dark. Sorry for all the weird lighting that's been happening. I don't normally record this late, but I've been thinking about this all day and I really felt like I wanted to share it with you all. I actually started doing an end of summer decluttering a couple weeks ago. When I got to my box of sentiments, for some reason, it kind of made me stop. I was just like, I can't do this right now. So I haven't finished my end of summer decluttering. It's already September. But things, objects, things that people give to you, even though they're meaningful, sentimental, all of that, I don't realize how much of an emotional toll it could have on me. I can't even move on with my decluttering because of all this emotional struggle I have. But I know they have to get done. I'll overcome it. I've overcome it before. I can overcome it again. Because at the end of the day, they're just things. They're just things that take up space. They take up brain space. It's crazy how inanimate objects can just drain you, emotionally, and really mess with your mental health. It's crazy. They're just things. They're not even alive, but they hold on to so much energy, and every time you look at it, you think about something, you're reminded of a feeling, of a person, but again, they're just things, and you could always let them go. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear in the comments, what are the struggles you have throughout your minimalism journey? What kind of emotional struggles you deal with, and how did you overcome it, or are you still working on overcoming it? I'd love to hear all your stories, so that way we can talk about it, we can learn from each other, and just motivate each other to declutter our life. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.